I'm very impressed.
You're impressed? You're impressed I slept?
I'm extremely impressed. You know what?
I wasn't impressed when I woke up.
Do you know what I'm impressed by?
What are you impressed by?
I'm impressed by the fact that we are live on Facebook. This is Secrets of the Sire, talking comics, movies, TV, pop culture.
For all those that not in the know, I was supposed to regale you with that terrible tale of my life so that he could get this thing up and running.
Well, that's a little behind the curtain stuff, and that's totally good.
No.
That's totally good. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, we talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture. We do it on talkradio.nyc. We also do it live streaming on facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, which is exactly where you can catch us right now streaming. And for the benefit of everyone out there, Hassan Godwin is alive tonight.
I've always been alive.
He's actually
alive.
He's got his John Lennon sunglasses on. So anybody downloading us on iTunes or iHeart, you're missing out. Yeah, you're missing out because
yes, it's a treat. Seeing me
is
a wonderful treat.
This is extremely.
That's what the ladies say.
This is extremely exciting.
I get that a lot. I get that a lot. Thank you.
Do you really? All right.
Yeah,
well,
I appreciate that.
All right.
I appreciate it.
So
now, okay. So this is what it's like to be on camera. This is like to be seen.
Yeah, and it's not as egotistical for me now anymore.
Really? Well,
that's
yes,
kind of the cool
because
part.
that was one of the things that worked really well for me. Is everyone was like, "What kind of an egotist is this guy you're working for?" Because like he doesn't even let you on camera, and now I'm on camera, so we can't really accuse him of anything.
You can't
anymore. I can, but it's kind of unwarranted a little bit.
It's unwarranted?
Yeah. So so there, all right. So I'm on camera. So this is me. I'm alive. I actually exist. We had a fan, didn't we, at NYC who actually talked to us and said, "Oh, you're him. That's the face of the voice."
This is true.
And then he looked very disappointed.
This is true.
So this is the whole reason why
this is true.
I didn't want to be on camera, but I'm all right with it now. It's never been Mike's fault. I put a clause in the contract that I was not to be on camera, but somehow we renegotiated while I wasn't looking, and now I'm on camera.
Awesome. Well,
so great.
Now
all right,
you're there.
so now we can move on.
And now you're there.
Yeah.
Which is good.
There
We're going to get you a new banner as well, too. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, because I got the old banner. What the heck? What kind of short shrift is this? How come I didn't get a brand new banner?
I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you. Because the funds ran out at the end of the year. Our History Channel sponsorship was only for one. All right. People joined us to catch all the talk about TV. That's our big topic tonight. Comic book related TV shows coming out. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to do it in a way that kind of pits them up against each other because there's a lot of similar stuff out there. Mm-hmm. There's an oversaturation of things. But first, I actually want to begin. And again, I'm actually pulling for anybody out there.
Is that a paper magazine?
It's a paper magazine.
What? They don't even make those anymore.
I know, and I couldn't find this online, so this is exclusive to the paper magazine.
Look at it. It's glossy. It's like gleaming and everything. Like you actually have to turn pages.
I know.
You have to be physical with it.
I know, it's crazy.
That is terrible.
But not too physical.
There's no striping. There's no nothing. All right.
The short-term future of television. Okay, so Entertainment Weekly actually kind of dissected this. By the way, we got Rick Marshall from Digital Trends coming on. He's a good friend of ours. Used to work at Wizard.
Hey, he's all right.
Really good stuff. I think our ratings are going to spike now that you're on camera.
Really?
Which, again, won't affect our downloads because they can't see you. Can't see me either.
Yeah. No one's really impressed by dulcet tones on iTunes.
I think our YouTube hits are going to go up.
Really? You think so?
I mean, we'll see.
They're going to fly up.
We'll see.
I wouldn't bet on that, my friend.
Alexa Fox, I want Hassan to be the new, to be the fave of all voices. So that's it. You're it. You're on camera. I think people came.
Yeah. I paid her though. I just sent her money to PayPal just to say that.
All right. Well, anyway, all right. The short-term future of television. Yeah. The waiting game. Some of TV's best shows are making us wait longer than ever for new episodes, with several fan favorites skipping 2018 altogether. Things like Stranger Things.
Bastards.
They are just figuring out the story for Stranger Things right now.
So we won't get it this year.
No. Game of Thrones, they already announced, won't be on in 2018.
Why?
In their case, they are really... Look, it's the last season. I kind of get that.
I get that too. It's a build-up, and they were very consistent for the last 8 years, which is great for them. But why are some of these others deciding to take an entire year off?
Westworld, I think, another great move doing it.
That is coming this year.
It is coming this year, but it took off all of last year.
It missed 2017.
Because look, when you and we'll use the album analogy, right? When you come out with your big breakthrough album, it's sometimes very, very difficult to follow.
You like this album analogy.
I do. I love the album analogy. Because, you know what, when you're making your hit album, it's usually when you're not a big band. So you don't have the pressure, you don't have the distraction. You're literally creating in a vacuum, right?
True.
It's your experiences, it's your hardship. I won't even use my Creed album analogy, but I have a tremendous Creed album analogy. But anyway,
don't avoid it.
I will. I just did.
Fight it.
We'll leave it up to our viewers to see if they want the Creed album analogy.
I don't think they do.
The break.
I know you're going to get a lot of calls for that.
Well, you never know.
Let's hear the Creed analogy. Let's hear the Creed analogy.
I think Scott Stapp gets requests for the Creed analogy.
No. Let's not talk about Scott Stapp.
That's
a whole show.
We have a young intern. It's like, who's Scott Stapp?
Yeah, I know.
Who's
poor
Creed?
guy.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's good for you.
No, you're better off.
Yeah, it's like not knowing who Nickelback is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They know who Nickelback. You've heard of Nickelback. She's heard of Nickelback.
That's too bad. I feel bad for you.
So it's good because you're creating in a vacuum. You don't have the pressure. You don't have anything kind of like weighing you down. The pressure of being weighed down by like what's out there.
True.
What's being said about you. What's being talked about you. So you also don't have the pressure too. Like when you go into a TV series, especially first season, you don't know if you're going to get renewed. So you're kind of putting, you're not holding anything
putting it
back,
all in that
right?
first season.
Like Dave Chappelle even said it. He's like, he started off with the blind black white supremacist.
Yeah.
In the first episode of the first season, you're like, and I mean to view that, and you're like, I can't believe he just did that. And in his mind, he's like, I didn't even know if we were going to get a second episode.
Yeah.
Why would I hold that back?
Yeah, exactly.
So you do.
But that was the right mentality.
Right.
That's the right attitude.
But then you have this successful first season, and you're just riding, you're just riding adrenaline, you're riding inspiration. Like, I mean, it lasts, and then you take that 3-month break, or in album years, you take that like 6-month break where you're like done touring and you kind of like get to decompress and start reading your press.
Right.
And people are like, hey, you're actually really
people
good.
Take this. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're not necessarily creating for yourself anymore. You could be trying to create for yourself.
Yeah, but if you allow yourself to get caught up, you can end up creating for all the wrong reasons.
Right. And so that's why I'm okay with all this. I know you're not a big fan of that trend, though. You're not a big fan of the wait.
Because you're getting less, and it's taking longer for them to give you less.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas I understand it, it's too much of an excuse to start dialing back content. But they're not dialing back the cost of getting the content.
Sure.
It's not like, oh, well, since most of your favorite shows are not going to be on this year, Netflix is going to give you a $10 rebate. No, it's not happening.
Right.
The prices are still going up. Net neutrality is gone, so all the prices on the net are going up. Most of our entertainment comes from online, right? So there's going to be there's going to be a vacuum.
Yeah.
A lot of your favorite shows are just not going to come back, or they're going to take 3, like Daredevil season 3.
Yeah.
It's like 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been 2
but
years.
you did have them in Defenders, though.
Doesn't matter.
So, I mean,
if you didn't like any of those other shows,
right,
they're taking that for granted. Right. If you didn't like any of those and Daredevil is not in any of those other shows. He's not in Jessica Jones.
No, but he is in Defenders.
Luke Cage.
So
he is in Defenders.
Theoretically could say that was a Daredevil season 3.
No, because he had to share the spotlight with a lot of other people, so they only got to sort of highlight his own pathology in the situation. You got to see Stick. You got a lot more Daredevil than you got of any of the other characters because there's a lot more Daredevil there. But you didn't actually get Daredevil.
Right.
Okay? So you still had to wait 3 years for it, or 2 years for it. That's ridiculous. Also, considering how hit or miss those seasons are in and of themselves, because they all come together, you're asking a lot to make us wait like 2 or 3 years for a season that may or may not be that great.
Right.
Look, Defenders was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't that great.
No, so. You know what? I agree with that. But that would be my argument, right? If you're getting less, but you're getting more quality, plus, there is so much TV out there now.
But that's only
13 episodes. I'm like,
if you watch a lot of
Punisher.
television.
I was watching Punisher, which we never actually really talked about Punisher. Maybe we will today, because why not? We had no plan. My plan was just a video, get you on camera.
Well, that's not getting us too far.
I'm watching Punisher, thinking, oh, thank God, I got to episode 10. I'm excited for the end of this. And I looked at wait, there's 13 of these things? Oh my god! Like it was a lot. Like it was a lot.
Yeah, but it was a lot of the same retread of the same tropes.
Sure.
I'm a beleaguered, military guy who's lost my family, and I'm really.
What did you think of Punisher? Actually, I mean, might as well. It's our show. We can do whatever we want.
Ironically, I liked it. I think it was a great drama. I don't know how great a comic book TV show it was.
You're right.
He wasn't very superhero-y.
He wasn't even very Punisher-y, by the way.
No, he wasn't.
I mean,
I like Barenthal. I think he's a great
amazing.
Actor. Yeah,
amazing Punisher.
And I like the setup and the circumstances. I liked the two main characters. They were likable and they were likable together. Had a good chemistry together. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert: the villain was well telegraphed by episode 2 or 3. I was like, oh come on, Marvel. It's going to be this guy, isn't it?
Yes.
So there was that, and then when they revealed it, you're like, no, I knew that.
But you know what, though? Actually, they revealed it early, and they built up to them finally squaring off, and I was pretty happy with how they squared off.
Yeah.
The only problem with how they squared off, though, is by that point, I feel like they deflated his rage so much by that point that I was almost like... Does he really still care anymore?
They're retreading a lot of tropes and stuff like that for like the origin seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, and these things. And we should be at a point where they're continuing to try to break new ground.
Episode 1 was Punisher.
Yes, and then he wasn't Punisher for the
rest of the show. And then he wasn't Punisher for the rest of the series. And that was my only...
That's a big thing, though.
It is a big thing.
That's no small thing.
Very well produced. Very well acted.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Very good storyline.
Wish the Punisher was
Very good supporting characters. Wish the Punisher was in it. All right. When we come back, we're going to dive a little bit more into this article a little bit.
Get a break.
We're going to talk about the power of #MeToo on your TV shows, on your favorite TV shows. And we're also going to talk about a trend of
get that paper magazine out of the way, man.
So exciting. And a specific trend of bringing back your old favorites. Is this more of what you want or just more of the same? When we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential. Live life your way on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Chipotle?
Did I mispronounce that?
Chakotay from Star Trek.
Chipotle?
It's Chipotle. You eat the
know I don't
every
speak
week.
Spanish.
Yes. I'm sorry.
You ate a whole wheel of cheese and you pooped in the fridge.
That was too diverse, right? That was
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We're having some technical difficulties. See, this is what happens when Hassan goes on camera. It's okay. We'll show.
I didn't do a thing. I was.
We've got handlers though. It's good. We got handlers. So yes. I keep thinking like move the banner. It's like we could just move the camera.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
Go figure.
So
we'll get this. We'll get this ironed out. This is very experimental stuff. We're breaking new grounds here. We actually have a former bandmate. So, little backstory. Hassan and I were in a band. All the music you hear is actually us playing. Hassan's a killer bass player. I'm a very good vocalist, even though you can't hear any of the words because we
because there are no words.
Well, there are actual words.
We don't actually use the words.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct, right.
Okay.
But theoretically speaking, there are lyrics on top of those.
Yes, in theory.
Those tracks.
In theory,
so our former bandmate, John Paul. John Paul. No, he's JP. I mean,
JP. Yes, but his name is John Paul.
My dude, you got an interview with Morpheus.
Is that the sunglasses crack?
Yeah, clearly.
Enough, people.
The red pill. The red pill.
I take the red pill all the time. It doesn't do any good. I still wake up here.
Alexa Fox, Shand, and I have watched none of the TV series put out. Not one of them. If I will only watch one of these superhero TV shows, which one and why? No, I don't even watch Gotham. To be fair, I don't watch Gotham either. There was a good one on last night, though. Apparently got some really...
All right. Excellent.
So, the power of Me Too. Amid a flood of sexual harassment allegations, TV execs are proving they're not afraid to upend valuable series in the name of creating safe spaces. House of Cards' final season has been undergoing major rewrites. Louis C.K. was cut from FX. CBS declined episodes of Wisdom of the Crowd. And this is where it kind of ties into what we're talking about. And Warner Brothers terminated its relationship with The Flash and Supergirl boss, Andrew Kreisberg.
Yes, they
after
did.
a report surfaced with nearly 20 allegations. Now, both Kreisberg and Piven have denied it. In this world, it doesn't matter. You're guilty until proven innocent in the eyes of social media, which is what it is.
Don't stand out. That's what you do wrong.
Kreisberg is interesting, though. I don't know if you read about his case, though. Apparently, he was creating a hostile workplace. So it wasn't so much he was using his position of power to gain some sort of sexual advantage.
There was also some other stuff. There's some shady stuff that was been going on that he was...
No, absolutely. But apparently they were saying the majority of complaints was it was a hostile work environment. I mean, nonetheless, seems like a bad dude. Seems like something happened. Whether or not it was or not, I don't think it was. It's not as blatant as say like the Kevin Spacey thing, where it's like
that guy's getting sexual assault.
He's getting investigated by like Interpol now. Like Scotland is actually like that's the level.
Yeah, he was kind of pervasive.
Right.
Prolific assaulter.
Right, like Jeremy Piven supposedly squeezed a butt, took a photo. Like there's different levels of this kind of stuff, regardless of what anybody wants to think or believe. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying there's definitely different levels, right? Kreisberg, I think, falls in that middle ground of it. There might have been some abuse of power. I never read anything about abuse of power, but I did read that he basically carried on a hostile work environment, and that's why he got canned.
Well, enough. That's enough, I guess.
No, it's enough. Whether it's sexual harassment or not, it's definitely enough in like a job world.
This seems to be what the Me Too is turning into. It's sprang from sexual harassment, sexual assault, but it's more to like the environment.
Sure.
That people who have power over you are are making or forcing
Sure.
on you in your workplace, stuff like that. When you don't have power, people taking advantage.
Sure.
So that's kind of where it seems to be going.
With some exceptions.
With a lot of exceptions.
With a lot of exceptions.
Yes. Which is where you're kind of leading this whole thing.
I'm actually not even going to talk about the politics of it, because we don't really get political on the show. We try not to. We get political off the air, which we'll start doing We'll start doing our Patreon-only feed again. I apologize to all our patrons who haven't gotten that yet. I'll list off my patrons as usual as well, too. They're wonderful, and we love them. But no, we actually also want to just talk about the impact it has on something like, say, a Flash or a Supergirl, or the fact that Black Lightning is being run by the same team that does Flash and Supergirl, does Arrow. I mean, it has a far-reaching effect into the impact on these shows. Now, Greg Berlanti is the main guy, so I don't think it's impacting them to the greatest degree. But it's something to like just keep out and keep watching for. It's going to be interesting over the next year or so.
Or just in general, how they're faring now that.
Be interesting to see, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you lose a component.
The main component.
And I'll pivot this back to.
But it's funny that they lost him, and yet they started a whole another show, know. And then
that was happening no matter what.
No matter what, yeah. But then they're sowing. Well, no, I know that's not.
I mean, that was already in there. Yeah, right.
But I'm saying they still went ahead with launching the show, and there's it looks like they're sowing the seeds for starting at least one other show.
Right.
That's coming up. So, they're obviously, they're obviously not that hurt.
When Joss Whedon left Buffy to go work on Firefly, there was or maybe it was Dollhouse at the time. It was Firefly. Sorry, it was Firefly. There was a distinct difference when you had someone else take over. Now again, Greg Berlanti.
So much better.
No, actually, it did not. No. Season 6 is heralded as the worst season, and rightfully so. It was not their best season.
Anything without Joss Whedon is wonderful.
Yes.
If I was on fire and Joss Whedon didn't show up to set me to put me out, I still consider myself lucky.
How do you feel about Joss Whedon? I'm getting a lot of mixed messages.
Really?
I'm getting a lot of nonverbal
am I being ambiguous?
cues that I'm just not picking up on.
No.
What? Did I just reference Ozzy and Sorry?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Moving on. In It for the Long Haul is the third and final piece to this, right?
Oh. Third and final piece.
There is a third and final piece. And
you're reading from that archaic magazine.
From
magazines! Turning pages and stuff. It's so annoying. It's so sad to see.
With breakout hits increasingly rare, networks are doing everything they can to give fans more of their favorite shows. Gillian Anderson, despite challenges, Gillian Anderson has expressed a desire to quit the X-Files after its current season. But Fox is cautiously optimistic they can throw a whole bunch of money at her and she'll come back.
They actually said
I ad-libbed to that one, actually.
Yeah,
that was me ad-libbing right there. So no credit to Entertainment Weekly.
Okay.
That was so
we're taking that back.
Speaking of Fox revivals, Prison Break is in the works. Showtime initially cautioned that Twin Peaks was going to be a one and done, but they're going to come back. Shameless was supposed to be canceled, but now it's coming back.
Shameless from Showtime?
Yeah. So, essentially... No. It was supposed to be like the final season of Shameless. Over. It was supposed to be like towards the end.
Was that this year or last year?
I think this season was supposed to be the last season, but now they're saying they're bringing it back. So
excellent.
That's really what it comes down to now. Are these, TV shows now? Is it really giving us more of what we want, or is it just kind of giving us more of the same?
I would argue it's both.
Yeah.
We don't know.
So you could just take this one then. You're going to argue yourself.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm going to argue with me.
I've been waiting to do this.
What?
Thank you. No.
It's bad that it's more of the same, but
give me a beer, Sam.
Obviously, nobody cares. Everybody's still watching. The ratings are still high.
I know.
So they still want more. I argue that you don't know if you want something different until you get something different. And since they're not endeavoring to give us anything different, they're going to be able to just keep pumping more of the same out, and that's the peril of it. But it seems like nobody cares.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think...
I don't know, like X-Files and stuff like that. Like, I haven't... Have you watched the new X-Files?
I have.
Is it any good?
So...
This season? I saw some of the last season.
First episode, threw me for a loop because basically everything you watched last season turned out to be just spoiler alert. Turned out to just be a seizure that Gillian Anderson was having, and you got to see what was going on in her head. Yeah. And then they dropped the bomb at the end, which I won't spoil.
So I have to finish watching last season before I even start watching this season,
so
that I can know the reference.
2 episodes. Watch. There's a Darren Morgan who is like the. It's funny because he's like the fan favorite. This is before the internet. He was my favorite writer on X-Files back before there was an internet. Well, I guess there was an internet, but like I wasn't on like AOL Instant Messenger. I wasn't on those chat rooms.
It was like 1972.
Right. I wasn't doing all that stuff when X-Files was on. I just basically was quietly being like, wow, this guy has written all my favorite episodes, with the exception of Vince Gilligan. Who also wrote some of my favorites, and he went on to make Breaking Bad.
You even noticed that there was someone actually writing, someone behind the scenes writing these things. So that's more than most people did.
Yeah, well, I know, because I'm extraordinary. I get that.
Right.
But
not quite what I was getting at. But, all right. It's good that you took that ball and ran with it.
No, you lob it up. It's a softball.
Yeah, it was soft. It was soft as hell. But all right, go ahead.
Much like on no.
Boy.
Zing! They just keep coming.
Yeah.
Poor Ozzy's on sorry. Here's the other thing though about it though. Watch episode 4, I think it is. There's a monster episode that he writes, really good, and then watch the last episode. That's all you need. Just watch those 2.
Really?
And then the finale comes out, and then you're into this
this new season.
Into this new season, which last episode was really action packed and made absolutely no sense. So the X-Files is back. Essentially the X-Files is back, right?
All right, excellent. I'm glad.
If you were a fan,
I'm glad they're not breaking any.
If you were a fan of season 7, 8, 9, you haven't missed anything. You're right back where.
Oh man,
right back where they really hit their
that's
stride.
Not an endorsement. That's kind of a bad endorsement. All right, well, so then I'll check it out. As bad as that endorsement was, I'll be one of the first people in line to see it.
So X-Files is actually bringing back the old. When we come back, we're going to bring on our guest, Mr. Rick Marshall from Digital Twins. Digital Trends.
Wow, get it right, man. There was a lot writing on this.
There's something about that I just can't seem to pronounce correctly right now. But from Digital Trends, Mr. Rick Marshall. That's his picture up there on the screen. He'll be back.
Oh, look at that.
And we are gonna
small picture.
Well, it gets bigger. Unlike on season, sorry.
Stop.
When we come back, we pit your favorite new shows against each other in a battle royale.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network. Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of... For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
You could do a Patreon page for your life. What would you actually offer patrons? I would do dishes.
I would offer with commentary to television shows, but I would be doing it in my living room.
I would pay $1 a month if you came to my living room and watched TV with me.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
It'll get you out of the house.
I don't want to leave my house. The whole reason I wanted Patreon.
That's not the purpose of Patreon.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern at talkradio.nyc and streaming live. And this is our first stream. It's very exciting of on our Facebook Live page with actual cameras, and we're doing some cool things here. But I want to give a shout out to our patrons. We're brought to you by all of our beloved patrons. We have dedicated fans: Einar Peterson, Matt Byer, Ashley Haikai, our program director Stephanie Dolce, our executive producers Steve Ovecki, Brian Phillips, and Christina Gillen, and as always our Uber fan Christina Dolce. Actually, Einar Peterson is now an Uber fan. He upped his pledge.
Really?
Yeah. So. Go to patreon.com/secrets of the sire. We're going to do some more cool video stuff. We're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. So, a couple comments before we get to our guests. Brian Everham, are they going to break into prison for Prison Break? It's very possible. 20 years later, JP first complimented the lyrics, saying very good lyrics, because he was in the band and he knows. It was very good. But also, he asked whether I would always choose the red pill. And the red pill's the one where the guy's eating the steak, right? And is oblivious. Because I'm gonna go with that one. And Priya Nembard.
No, the red pill was getting out.
Was it? No, the blue pill.
The blue pill was staying in.
No, I want to stay in. I don't want to be. It's too much work.
So you're a blue pill.
It's too much work to fight in the resistance. My God.
Yeah, but everything is real. You're not being faked out.
How would you know though? You wouldn't know.
You would know because you took the blue pill. You were like, hey, I took this blue pill and everything is exactly the same. This is weird.
No, if you took the blue pill, you'd be like, I had the weirdest dream last night. I dreamt that this reality wasn't real.
So Larry Fishburne was in my living room.
But all of a sudden, I'm super rich now because I made a deal with
what a dream.
With those shady guys. Give me that one.
That's a fair dream.
Alexa Fox said, totally unrelated, but anyone notice how Michael sounds like Will Friedle? Who's that? Just close your eyes and let it wash over you. Friedle?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
I don't know who that is.
Alexa, chime in.
Bad reference, Alexa.
Yeah, chime in.
Make references that normal human beings know.
Normal human beings.
Yeah, overly intellectual people just should not make like normal commentary.
All right. Well, we have intellectual people on right now. We have a good friend of ours.
No. We have Rick Marshall on.
Mr. Rick Marshall from Digital Trends. Mr. Rick Marshall, how you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going very, very good. Very well indeed. We are going to be... There's just mayhem in the studio right now. That's all.
I thought that I was going to, find out some secrets of the sire on this show. I feel like I've been misled here. Now I'm out here that we're going to talk about TV shows and stuff.
Segment 4.
The secret is that we don't tell you the secret.
The secret is go buy the book. Go to MikeBooks.com and just buy the book. See, we had a new issue come out. We have another trade paperback. That's it. That's the secret. The secret is it's just a giant marketing ploy for my books.
Yeah. And now that you're here, Rick, you fell for the secret. So
yeah,
you're part of the problem, not the solution.
So we talked about a bunch of things leading up to it, and then I want to do a little square off of a couple of new shows. What do you think? What do you think the trends of TV? We talked about the Me Too. Okay, the Me Too movement's not a trend, but the impacting, the trending of impacting. See, I saved myself there. Mm-hmm. How it impacts TV. We talked about constantly bringing back new shows, be it canceled 10 years or otherwise. And then we also kind of talked a little bit about just the delay in between shows. So take your pick, any of those three that kind of jump out at you, and I want to hear your feedback on that.
Well, no, I think that the bringing back of old shows and different properties is a really interesting thing right now, because where it used to be a case of anything that gets brought back, a second time based on nostalgia and such has been almost automatically a miss. But now we're actually getting some decent stuff in the movie and TV side of things. I mean, I think Battlestar Galactica changed everything. Like, they brought back a series that no one saw, that much of, to be honest. I mean, I remember watching the original show, but the, renewed Battlestar Galactica was amazing. And then suddenly everyone started to say, hey, maybe we can do, a different take on this that people will appreciate and make it, relevant to a new audience.
You were saying it wasn't Full House that did it? Because I thought it was Full House. I thought Full House changed everything. It's fuller now.
I'm still waiting for that gritty, dark, serious Full House reboot.
Yeah, where they're like a detective agency, like searching for murderers.
So
no,
yeah, that's the John Stamos.
That was the idea I pitched.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right,
didn't get very far, did it?
No.
One of the other things we kind of noticed too is,
Stamos.
not notice, but so in doing research in preparation for the show, which all of 5 minutes, but whatever. There's just so much superhero-related, comic book-related stuff. I mean, are we at a point of oversaturation? I mean, are people going to start getting tired of this kind of stuff? I mean, it has to happen, right?
I would have said so, a few years ago, but to be honest, we're seeing some really interesting takes on things now, and they're finding ways to do stuff that is different. Legion, for example, is one of the most visually unique shows that I've ever seen on television. I absolutely love that show, and I never would have thought that show could have been made or even would have been successful. It's essentially it's Stanley Kubrick's X-Men. I love that show so much. And then they're also doing some really interesting takes on shows to sort of make them stand out from the crowd. And then you have the CW series. If anyone would have told me that they could have had 4 or 5 different shows that are all interconnected and working together in a sort of shared universe years ago, I would have never expected it. But they're making it work. No matter how you feel about the CW shows, they're working and they're very successful at what they're doing. I think that's amazing. And so I don't know if we're reaching that oversaturation point as long as people still think outside the box and come up with creative ways to sort of package and present these shows. But again, Legion is sort of the one I just always hold up as being the most fascinating take on a superhero property.
Another offbeat one actually debuted last night, which was Black Lightning, and that one's getting a lot of praise. And again, sitting on my DVR, that's my problem. I'm still I'm still sifting through the Netflix stuff.
That for preparation for this show. I just want to tell you that I actually watched it to prepare for this show.
Excellent.
Nice. I didn't even know it was on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no.
Shows you he's got more dedication than I do.
I
Very
really
clear.
Enjoy it. It's a different take on certain things. It feels kind of like a CW show in some ways, but it doesn't feel as sort of campy as CW show, and I think they're going for it with it. I like it. I love also seeing that it's an adult. It's a grown adult in a superhero role thus far in the show, at least one episode in, as opposed to some sort of very pretty young actor or actress playing the lead role.
You're saying the main character's not pretty?
Oh,
he looks damn good.
Controversy.
He's an older actor by Hollywood standards. I like that. I like seeing.
Now he's too old.
The older sort of statesman.
He's old and unattractive.
Characters.
Rick, I gotta tell you, I gotta warn you in advance. Hassan's just trying to trap you. He's been plotting it the entire time.
I have not.
I am gonna trap Rick Marshall.
That is a terrible.
You're gonna trap him somehow. No,
Rick Marshall's gonna trap himself.
We have the most epic back and forth and more often than not disagreements on pretty much every property out there. I pretty much assume that any way that I feel about a certain project, Hassan will feel the exact opposite about it.
That's you. But you think that's a situation unique to you. That's like everyone he interacts with.
That is not true. You're calling me a contrarian.
Yes, you are a contrarian.
That hurts me deeply.
I'm not saying your opinions aren't genuine.
Well, I'm right and everybody is an idiot. That's all. I mean, it's
I believe
pretty.
That comment's actually been left for me in many disagreements.
Let's talk about some Marvel shows. We got 2 new Netflix shows coming out. Not 2 new ones, but 2 returning shows. We got Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Out of the 2 of those Netflix shows, which one do you think is going to be the most anticipated from the fans, and which one do you think executed the best and will execute the best in their second seasons?
I think that Jessica Jones had a better first season than Luke Cage. Luke Cage was a great show for half of the season, and once Mahershala Ali left the show, I feel like it lost a lot of steam in Luke Cage.
See,
and
I
I
agree
feel
with
like
that.
Mike Coulter was still sort of working his way around becoming that leading man character. And so I'm really interested by how Luke Cage goes in the second season, if Mike Coulter can really carry the show. And with Jessica Jones, it's likely losing, although he's supposed to, make some sort of appearance. David Tennant's character, Kilgrave. Kilgrave was so fascinating to watch throughout that first season that, I'm kind of curious as to how they top that villain in the second season. But I think Kristen Ritter actually can carry a show on her own.
Yeah, she's pretty dynamic. I mean, from what I've seen so far, and yes, that's on my list. I'll get there, fellas. I'll get there. I know it's terrible. Don't have kids. Rick has kids. He knows what it's all about.
Yeah, but he seems to be able to watch
all
them.
all my shows in those early mornings while with a very young baby. I am sitting there, while I can still watch the shows without horribly traumatizing my children. I can watch them all then.
I think any age under 2, you're allowed to show whatever you want because they can't comprehend what's in front of you. At least
You
that's,
don't know that,
At least
though.
that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, and then they grow up to be like Dexter.
That's
and
really
then you got a
weird.
serious problem.
That's really what I'm hoping. 2 shows that we dubbed Best Freeform Show, because Freeform all of a sudden is just coming out with tons of content now. They're doing Cloak and Dagger and New Warriors. So
Cloak and Dagger is just going to be strange because if I remember the comic book, those are drug addicts. You know, so that's going to be a strange take on it.
Gritty, like there were drug addicts and there was like forced prostitution.
Yeah, it was pretty heavy.
In it, and it was like a really out there, gritty, dark comic.
And now it's a freeform show.
Which, will make up for all of it.
And so, I mean, I honestly didn't even realize they were making a New Warriors show until, again, I did my 2 minutes of research here. It keeps going down, by the way. It started as 5 minutes of research, goes down to 2 minutes.
Well, as the show goes on,
6 young peeps with superpowers aren't nearly as impressive as the Avengers, but they're going to give superheroing a try regardless.
Those little marshmallow candies?
Ensues.
That's
well,
what's
I
in the...
feel like they're going to win on New Warriors just by having Squirrel Girl in it. She's so hot right now that like everyone is going to be watching it just to see what.
Just to see Squirrel Girl, but how much does the comic book reading audience really constitute the comic book TV viewing audience? Like, it's like 1/10, right? I mean, it's got to be. I mean, because if the amount of people that watched the TV shows actually went into a comic store and bought comics, you'd have no articles about how the comic book industry is dying. Like, none. Right?
True, I agree. Also, comics are as a form in a weird spot right now too, because I think people are gravitating more towards collected trades of things, and the Squirrel Girl specifically. Actually, it's funny to even segue into this because Squirrel Girl specifically, like her trades sell fantastically.
Wow!
And so I think this is a really interesting one. It's a very mainstream comic in a lot of ways. Surprisingly, who would ever have thought Squirrel Girl would be mainstream? But I know people. I know people who are several generations older than me who are reading Squirrel Girl, including my mom. My mom reads Squirrel Girl.
Well, she's been a long time Squirrel Girl fan. I mean,
yeah.
You didn't know that about your mom?
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's well known.
All right, last one. We're gonna go best outer space reboot. Lost in Space versus Galaxy Quest. Lost in Space is coming to Netflix. Galaxy Quest coming to Amazon. Wait, is this really happening? Yes, it is. 30 seconds. Yeah, right? I mean, kind of have to.
Galaxy Quest is going to be the Orville, though. You're going to have it's going to be competing with the Orville market, which is a theft, which is the Star Trek Marvel,
which is competing with Black Mirror right now.
That's a really great point, actually, about Orville, because I love Orville, and for the same reasons, I think that I really like Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's kind of Star Trek, but not.
Yeah.
So now you're going to have 2 shows that are kind of Star Trek, but not.
And Star Trek is still out there,
and
too.
Star Trek is still on.
And there's a movie being made.
Yes.
And J.J. Abrams
movie.
is now shopping his space opera.
His own space opera.
And
the Black Mirror.
Which
They're going to do the spin-off on the Black Mirror show.
Oh, my God.
And Tarantino's got that Star Trek movie coming
out. So we're screwed.
Oh, man. Rick,
I
am deeply disappointed in your guest appearance. Hassan was agreeing with you. He did not play shares.
A lot.
But
I'll never get credit for agreeing with him, so don't worry about it. Next time I disagree with him online, he'll just say, "Oh, you hate everything."
Well,
and then
you
be
just link to the show.
Yes.
Right?
Now he's telling you how to do your job.
Yeah. Well, now he's telling me how to win.
Rick, where can people find you and your work?
I'm a contributing editor over at Digital Trends. I write a lot about movie and TV properties over there and sort of where things are going, especially in the digital world. And I'm also a host and producer of Retcon. It's a show for NPR and WAMC Northeast Public Radio. It's an interview show on geeky topics. And you can find me on Twitter at Rick Marshall.
Awesome, Rick. It's been a pleasure. Good to talk to you. It's been too long, and we will have you. We'll have you back on again.
I would love to be back on, and I feel like this was disappointingly less contentious with Hassan than I expected. So thank you.
I'm off my game today.
You're saying that it's less contentious talking to someone in person versus online? I don't believe.
I feel like I was coming into this all geared up to argue with Hassan, but I feel like you already got the Joss Whedon stuff out of the way before I came on.
Yeah.
When I checked in.
Yeah.
So
I did that on purpose.
Well, we'll figure something out for next appearance.
We'll set up a fight.
Next appearance.
We'll have an arena
and
everything.
Guys. It was great being on.
All right, when we come back, we're going to keep talking TV, and we're going to go spinning the racks.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network. conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth from Nourish the Soul, and on this show, you will uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to having a healthy relationship to food and your body. Join us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
Contemplating how to do this, you being on camera next week.
I'm gonna go get some sun then. Don't read
you're-
into it.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
That was,
Class.
very racially
Have some class.
insensitive.
See, there it is.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
see, you ruined it. It was a subtle nod to it now, and you just kind of hit it over the head with a hammer.
Secrets of the Sire.
Have you posted any groups? Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. I want to thank our guest, Rick Marshall. I want to thank our cameraman, me, for setting this all up.
Yeah,
It's been
good
very
work.
exciting.
There's only half of me.
This is very exciting.
In this entire.
So
you can't take credit for this.
This is the funny thing, right? So I also do.
Rooster
I do.
taking
I do.
credit for the dawn.
I do web design, right? So I do a lot of stuff, and I was talking to a client today, and she says, "Oh, can you fix this picture? Because this picture, the head's cropped." And I'm like, as a designer, like I actually always want to see it like kind of cropped, like it actually makes it more dramatic. But viewers don't like that, and you're actually viewing yourself, and you're like, "Hey, my head's cropped."
Yeah. As a person with a head, I don't like the whole idea of having it cropped.
Right. Well,
so
you ditched the glasses because JP.
I did what I was asked to do. Right.
Yeah.
We were getting negative feedback from it, and I
negative
adhered to
feedback.
it.
That's you caved is what you did.
I didn't. Oh, you're gonna call it caving.
I
now.
did. I just did.
All right.
Yeah.
Catering to your audience to get ratings is caving. All right. We understand. We heard it from Mike Dolce.
All right. We did. Rick Marshall said, "Thanks for having me on. Fun show." Heck yeah, we always have fun here. Todd Wright called Cloak and Dagger drug-addicted runaways.
Yes. Which
By
is
the
what
way-
the show is about.
Which, by the way,
well, what the comic book was about.
by the
I
way,
don't know about
Runaways is supposed to be phenomenal, and I need to watch
Yeah, I
that.
haven't watched that either.
Where is that even
Or
on?
Gifted.
Is that on Freeform? If it's on,
No, it's on Hulu, isn't it?
It's on Hulu, right?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is Marvel doing? Stop. Just focus everything in one place where I can watch it.
You want it to be convenient for you. You want
Yes.
not only multiple shows,
Yes.
but you want it all in one place where
Yes.
you can watch. You don't even watch the shows you got your hands on. They're all in your
They'll get
DVR.
there. But yeah, I know. But like they're there. It's like I want the things I can't have. You know.
I can't argue.
Jordan Elizabeth
I can't
Gelver,
argue with this.
Legion in big caps. She was a former guest. She'll be on again as well.
Yeah,
soon.
I gotta watch Legion. Like I said, I saw the first episode and it just didn't do anything for me because it was like, it was like really, it was out there, it was zany.
So Todd,
but you're saying it got better.
It did get
Season 1 got better.
Like any show, I think it takes like 5 episodes for you to kind of get used to everything.
If you can
and
get through those 5
If you can
episodes.
get through it, it's worth it. I definitely barreled through the last few episodes quicker than I did the very first. It was tough. The visual, from an aesthetic point of view, Legion is awesome, and it's like really is trippy. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. But then you start having like little questions, like, okay, where does this take place?
Exactly. Like
Is this
with the reality of
like,
the situation.
yeah.
Is this reality or is
in the
this in someone's
60s?
mind?
Is this in the 80s? Is this not? Is it?
That's what makes it difficult for me.
It was tough. I'm not gonna lie. It was a
All
little
right.
tough. I know
I'll check it
everyone's
out.
like, "Wow, it's the greatest thing ever."
A little bit
but-
of time now. I'll check it out.
Oh wait, so Alexa Fox chimed in.
Here we go.
Will Friedle is the dumb older brother on Boy Meets World. That I didn't realize.
That's what she's calling you.
Which is fine.
She's saying you're the dumb old.
But
guy.
I've always been
I'm older
likened.
than you, though.
I've been likened to Ben Savage. I've actually people.
Ben
have said,
Savage.
People said you look like that guy from Boy Meets World. Unless this entire time they've been talking about the older brother, but I don't.
She
think
said you
so.
sound like the older brother.
It's very true.
Right? So
Very
true. Not about what you look like.
No,
so
no.
you got like the best of both
Our new
worlds.
alpha intern Sophie saying no.
You don't look like him. You sound.
I sound like him. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. I used to look like him too. I used to have like more hair. It was crazy.
Wow. All right, I'm staying out of this.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No.
But now we know.
Yeah.
Now we know, and it was an insult.
Yes.
So okay, good. We can move on.
It's a total win for you, right?
This works for me.
All right. Well, to follow up a win for you.
Here we go.
Let's go win for me. We do this every week.
Oh.
We go spinning the racks, bringing you the most fantastical pop culture news out there.
One moment of weakness.
Love it. Chris Hemsworth says he's contractually done playing Thor after Infinity War. Thor may be no more. Chris Hemsworth confirmed to USA Today that his contract with Marvel Studios has been fulfilled after 4 Avengers movies and 3 standalone Thor films.
Yeah, he got
this
a
is
pretty
it.
penny from it.
I'm done. I won't be playing the character again, the 34-year-old actor
He said that, though. So he said he's not gonna
Hemsworth,
be.
yeah, he says it. In the comic books, Jane Foster is taken over as the Asgardian god. Do you foresee the female Thor making an appearance?
Probably. Oh, they'll try it. They'll see how it
Yeah.
works. I don't know how it's going to work box office wise.
Yeah.
But they'll try it.
Maybe not in her own film. Maybe she'll be a guest on in one of the others, and we'll
they
see.
would be smart to
Test the
shift.
waters a little bit.
Well, they would be smart to shift all their main characters to new main characters
Yeah.
and have all the replacements be like peripheral characters.
I mean, what about a Beta Ray Bill sighting?
Come on, man. Everyone would love that.
Okay.
Everyone would love
Just
Beta
what?
Ray Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. That would be instant crowd pleaser.
A John Wick TV series is officially happening with Keanu Reeves involved. It's going to be called The Continental. It'll be set in the John Wick universe, focusing on the inner workings of the
the hotel.
exclusive Continental Hotel, which serves as a refugee for assassins.
That is going to be the most violent television show in human history.
You think so?
Well, John Wick, not that I'm a prude, it's kind of a violent series of movies.
Yeah.
It's wonderful
because
of the violence, but if you're saying you're watching that movie or those 2 movies, excuse me, for anything other than watching Keanu Reeves murder people for about 2.5 hours in creative ways, you're lying to yourself.
But it's funny you mentioned that too, because we were kind of like lamenting that the Punisher show, while extremely well made and well acted, wasn't really a Punisher show because he's not really killing a bunch of people.
I'm pretty sure John Wick, the TV show, would it be called John Wick?
It's called The Continental.
So yeah, they can get away with just having a lot of discussions. I bet you, is Ian McShane going to be involved in it?
I don't know anything except that
that would be
Keanu
a
Reeves
win.
is involved.
He's probably producing.
No, he's going to be in it in some capacity. Maybe not the star of any kind, but
He'll just do a walkthrough.
He'll probably do like the first episode and then maybe like pop in for sweeps. What an archaic concept I just brought back. Like Sweeps Week. Remember Sweeps
Week?
Remember Sweeps Week?
They'll just put them on. Yeah, no, there's no Sweeps Week.
Our alpha interns are like, what do they sweep?
What?
Do they
Sweep?
the
I'm not
floor?
sweeping
I don't
anything.
even know what that means. I'm doing a write up and I have
here
no
to
idea
sweep.
what you just talked about.
We're so old. Such old men.
Well, I mean, it's definitely,
No, there's not.
Rick Marshall actually just chimed in too, so he's just
What?
like,
Tell him to
he's like on the internet. He's calling. He's great.
Yeah, get on with your
He's our
evening,
new biggest
Marshall.
fan. This is fantastic. Well, this is his evening. He's got kids. Trust me. Like my basketball team consistently like texts me and they're like, "We have to move our game. Is anyone free tomorrow night?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "What about the next night?" "Yes." "What about the night after that?" I can do anything you need me to do.
I will be there.
I have no life.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm available.
Yeah. So that's what ends up happening. Alexa Fox chimed in. They need their own Wonder Woman, but they don't have a great match. I suspect Miss Marvel, female Thor, and She-Hulk are all possibilities. Now, they have a lot of females coming out. This is in reference to the Thor storyline we just talked about. There's a lot of female characters coming out. You do have the Miss Marvel show, the Miss Marvel movie coming out. You do have
with what's her name?
Black Widow was announced also.
Who's the star of Miss Marvel though?
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson.
Yeah,
okay.
who's a big time Oscar winning or Oscar nominated. No, she won the Oscar.
And she's got comic book ties. She was in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
So she's got she kind of got a little built in credibility thing going there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're saying they're comic book female characters, Thor, maybe
Valkyrie.
female Thor,
Valkyrie also.
Black Widow's going to get
Black
her
Widow's
own.
getting her own. So I mean, there's no shortage.
Well, from our perspective,
this one's interesting. Oh, we want to welcome Kristen Sora, another former Wizard employee, just joined in. This is what we've become, which we should just market to former Wizard employees, and then that's what we'll do.
That's all. The whole world is full of Wizard employees.
We're out there.
Yeah. There's no,
Brian Abraham chimed in. Our intern's like, "What's Wizard?" Storm will join Black Panther sequel. I bet you that'll happen. Not in this one. This is laying the groundwork. Okay. And now we got the X-Men characters coming in.
We'll see. We'll see what they do.
All right.
It's not going to be worth it unless they get Hugh Jackman to do this.
No. Oh, why would you wait till the very last minute where I'm about to end the show to bring in why Hugh Jackman needs to never be Wolverine ever again? This is the perfect opportunity for him to never be Wolverine again. He's amazing.
I thought we planned this.
And he's awesome. And we will talk about this next week. We are going to welcome our very, very esteemed colleague, Mr. Jeff Gomez, next week in studio. So he won't have a new banner because I don't have time to get a new camera. Maybe I can get a new banner by next week. We'll see what I can do. I'm going to try to get a new banner.
Everybody who visits needs a banner.
I am going to try.
Where's your banner? Bring your
desperately
banner.
to get a banner for next week, just so he has a banner.
You can't come in. You don't have a banner.
I don't know how we're going to make this work. But Jeff Gomez is going to be in. He's going to talk about all the transmedia trends. I mean, we've got so much transmedia stuff happening. We got the Star Wars films. We're going to talk with him about. I want to know his reaction to Last Jedi. I want to know his reaction to the Me Too hashtag that is now impacting all areas of entertainment and media, and just in general. He's just a wealth of knowledge and information. Yes, coming up next on Talk Radio is Mr. Larry Sharp, the Governor's House. We will see you all next week.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.